Hi, there is one question that never gets old when you are defining a data strategy. It is whether to onboard all the data sources and centralize the data first, or go use case by use case and onboard the data source. You don't want to kind of go too much or put too much focus in onboarding the data sources that you miss generating value out of it. At the same time, you don't want to go use case by use case and slow down running multiple use case in parallel, right? So what you need over here is an hybrid data strategy. So what I mean by hybrid data strategy, I will explain it. The first thing you need to do is you need to set up an program governance committee. The program governance committee is a combination of business delegates or data custodian who understand the critical data sources well. They are also your data governance delegates, right? The second thing you need to have is a set of product owners who can help and prioritize the use cases based on business value. The third thing you need to have is representation from the chief data office. Now, the chief data office can be within the business or within the technology or a combination of both, right? So now you have your program governance committee. The role of the program governance committee is to identify the critical data sources across the enterprise. They basically work with all the business delegates, and then they rank order the sources based on criticality. And the critical sources that they identify is basically they focus on onboarding it into the centralized data repository so that multiple use cases can leverage it. That is one part of it, right? Now this data, critical data sources, if you are banking or retail, it can be your customer, it can be your customer transaction, it can be your product, it can be your merchant, or it can be your partner. It can be anything that is very core to your business. This can be used by marketing, this can be used by sales, this can be used by risk, fraud, or any department, right? Now, the next thing you are doing is, as you're prioritizing your use cases, you identify the sources that are not in and that are critical, and then onboard those data sources so that the critical use cases can get delivered first. At the same time, the remaining entity, the remaining line of business who are trying to do some hypothesis on the data, they have access to these critical sources. And what they can do is they can kind of go and explore, do analysis of the data for the use case. And if they need additional sources, they can go back to your kind of program governance committee and request these additional sources, and that can be prioritized. So basically what you are doing is you are having an hybrid strategy now. You are hydrating your data repository with critical data sources, and then you are also going backward from your use cases and onboarding sources. This way you are generating business value as the data gets into the repository. And the second part is your data strategy does not change whether it's on-premise or cloud. Your technical implementation change, but your data strategy is going to be kind of same irrespective of where you are having your data repository. There's a lot of confusion like what is my cloud strategy, what is my on-premise strategy. Your logical strategy is going to be the same. Your physical implementation is what is going to mostly differ. There may be some part of it will differ, but there is like very few of it. Thank you.